I mean, Bob knows what he is doing, and it's no mistake that if you look at these past pay-per-views which happened in the last few months, that his fight did the best, even though he didn't have HBO. He knows what he is doing, you know. So I have to say I learned a lot from him, you know, and then I added my own spice to it, and we broke records, you know, and so I think the pay-per-view is not that. You need to know how to promote it. You need to know to tell the story. It's selling.
You're a smart businessman. How do you contest piracy that's on Facebook Live now? It's not like a website where you could just shut it down.
Well, you know, you see a lot of piracy, I think, with Periscope, and in a way it's like similar what you saw early on in the music industry as well. So we need to find a way to maybe embrace that, and you know, fighting is one thing, but embracing is maybe another, and maybe there can be something done.
How would you embrace something
I
like
don't
that?
know. I mean, I would have to sit down and see with Steve. I mean, we do have, you know, like we usually employ an army of people which try to shut down these illegal streams, and that helps somehow. But you know what? It's not really only the illegal streams, because the fact is, look at UFC. They're doing million-plus pay-per-views, and they have the same pirates, maybe even more. You know, since boxing supposedly has the older demographic, and the old dudes, they don't know how to steal the signal. But at UFC, all these young guys, these tech-savvy guys, but they still do million-plus pay-per-views. So pay-per-view is not dead. You need to know how to sell it.
Well, you referred to music and how Spotify and everything beat out piracy there. Do you think if you have the right matchups and you promote it right, people won't want to steal and they'll want to watch it on the big screen and in good quality, and they'll be compelled to?
I think you cannot avoid that. There's always signals will be stolen, but you know, if you have to make it compelling enough, and that people want to watch it on the big screen and watch it at home, and not like invite like it used to be, do a party, invite friends and have a barbecue, and then what, you want to have 20 people sitting around the little iPhone, you know, and watching the fight? No, you're not going to do that.
What fighters do you think are under the PBC banner right now that you could see emerging as pay-per-view stars in the next year or two?
Well, you know, I think after a performance like tonight, Charlo, I think, and you know, he sort of like had, you heard the arena, they all booed him. He has like a bit the bad boy image, and as we've seen, I mean, coming back to UFC again with Conor McGregor, you know, you don't have to only have the good boy. Sometimes, you know, people like to cheer against the bad boy as well. So somebody like that in big matchups, I think he can definitely become a pay-per-view attraction. You know, I think Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight champion, I believe that he is the best heavyweight champion, and he needs to have these opportunities to go into those big fights against the Anthony Joshuas. I think if he goes in against Anthony Joshua, he would win. So I think he is one. A guy which is not under the PBC banner, but who is a fighter which, you know, I'm fortunate to promote his next fight, is Mikey Garcia. I think Mikey Garcia has a tremendous upside. I think he can really be the next pay-per-view star. Bilingual, exciting, you know, I mean, knows how, has a punch, knows how to box. It's just like is ready, I mean, to really break through. So there is you know, there's some fighters and another guy which I think is going to be the future of the sport is Errol Spence. You know, so and what we need to do is we need to put these kind of fights together, because you see with Charlo, J-Rock, that's a dangerous fight, and if you have two undefeated guys in the prime of their career going at it, one guy is coming out as the big potential star, which he sort of like was before, but tonight he really proved himself in a way, you know, you can prove yourself when you challenge yourself against the best. And J-Rock didn't really, I mean, so he got stopped, okay, but he's a young guy, it's a learning experience for him, and I think, you know, anybody's going to want to see him again, and he'll have another night. And that's why it's so important to have the best fight the best, and then nobody will lose.
Joshua and Wilder could be...
Oh my gosh, that could be, if Joshua, let's say, goes and beats Klitschko and Wilder does his thing, you know, and then imagine that. I mean, this truly will be two young guys, two Olympians, two big guys, two big punchers. You know, the question is going to be whose chin is going to hold up better. I mean, that's going to be like a massive global promotion for the true heavyweight championship of the world. So they are those kind of fights.
Because that could be a pay-per-view, like million plus type deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Richard, first, congratulations on a tremendous first show back.
Thank you.
Well, What was it like kind of being in the promoter seat
Great
again?
to see you, Mike. Happy holidays. All the best. See you soon.
What was it like being back in the promoter seat again?
Well, it was fun. It was very meaningful to promote such a great card. And I remember Abner Mares actually was the first champion at Golden Boy, and here I'm doing my first show at Ringstar, and the first champion is Abner Mares, and so I'm very happy for him. And Quellar, came up short tonight, but I know he'll be champion again. So it was a great card. I mean, Charlo and all those guys, Lipinets, Lubin, all those, just like, it was great fights. It was a great venue, by the way, as well. The crowd was really into it, and definitely a place to come back to.
Charlo had a tremendous performance, looked great, obviously against great competition, but then that thing happened afterwards. What were your thoughts on that whole situation?
Well, I saw there were some issues, and I jumped into the ring and tried to calm him down a bit. He was just so excited. It was the excitement, this was like, there was a lot of pressure on him, and there were a lot of people doubting him, saying, he was avoiding J-Rock for so long, and so on. And so there were a lot of doubters, and I think he proved then tonight all these doubters wrong, and it was like raw emotion there in the ring. There was no like ill will or so. He just sort of like, he was still in the moment. And I could see it in his eyes, and he was like still like ready to go, and I was almost scared a bit, I was like, let's see, but no, we calmed him down, and he was okay. So it was just emotions, which after a victory like that on that kind of stage against another undefeated fighter, we sort of like have to understand. And then obviously the crowd started booing, and so he has the bad boy image, but the bad boy image sells as well. Look at Conor McGregor, look at Floyd Mayweather.
Richard, congratulations on a fantastic card for your debut of Ringstar Promotions. Now that all that is said and done, how good are you feeling of putting on such a phenomenal job?
Oh, I'm very happy. I really couldn't have worked out better. The crowd was entertained. I think those, actually next to me was a couple sitting, which was the first fight. Steven Espinosa invited them to fight, but they were for the first ever fight, and they said, well, we are fans. And I think those who came tonight, I saw that like the reaction I think we would get from all of them. Tonight was really entertainment, and it showed the people who has never seen boxing how great and how exciting boxing can be. And those who have seen it are reminded, on why they are boxing fans. And I know 2016, some people say it was a difficult year and so on, but nights like that, I think, make up for maybe some of those other fights, because tonight was a great night for boxing.
Abner Mares did a phenomenal job following the game plan to perfection. What was your thoughts on on his performance?
Well, discipline, and it just showed how good Abner Mares is. Now a four-time world champion. He's clearly one of the most skilled fighters, and sometimes there were some flashes where I felt he was going to get carried away and almost too brave for his own good, but he really stuck by the game plan and fought a very, very disciplined fight, which he needed to. He knew he had to, because Quellar is a very strong guy, and one punch can change the game.
You had the Balderas brothers here ringside, prospects signed to you guys. What did you tell them afterwards, or kind of during, just kind of seeing the moment of the big fight and kind of letting them know this is going to be you one day?
Well, they were very excited, and they really liked it here, and they told me, well, can I fight tomorrow? They're like ready. They loved the venue, they liked the atmosphere, and I think they were very impressed. And they met many of those champions which were here this weekend. They met them as well, so they're just happy and great young kids, and one day it will be them.
Charlo said that he may jump up to 160. Obviously, Triple G's at 160, but there's a man in between 154 and 160 that doesn't have an opponent yet. His name is Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
Who would you want to see Canelo fight next? And part two to that question, should Charlo jump right in to the 160 mix, or take do the Andre Ward round?
Well, that's really not something I can answer. You would have to ask him. I'm more like looking at it from like which fights would the fans like? What would be entertaining in the ring? What would be fights I would like to see as a fan? And I have to tell you, with Charlo sort of like wanting to move up and Canelo wanting to move up as well, in a way, they're sort of like in the same boat. Neither one really is like, okay, let's just go to 160, but sort of like thinking about it. Both of their names start with a C and end with an O, and
somebody
and you have, and exactly, somebody's O must go. So you have that, you know, and then Canelo likes to fight in Texas. Charlo is from Texas, so you know, so you start like, you know, I'm start like thinking, is like, man, and you know, and Oscar and me, we know each other, so you know, I mean, I can just imagine it would be a hell of a promotion. I think everybody would have a great time, the fans would be entertained, and I think it would be a big pay-per-view.
It doesn't seem like you gave that a lot of thought.
No, I'm just thinking here, you know, and I mean, in a matter of a few seconds. So imagine if I would think for like 5 minutes, all the shit I would come up with.
It grew organically.
Yeah. Well, you guys helped a little bit too.
The car that